It is Sunday. And is it a bird? Is it a plane? Nope, it's just me, LB0 Fox India. And as usual, my internet connection is not the best now on a Sunday at this time, but we'll see how things work out. I think fiber's coming my way pretty soon. I've seen the vans for the fiber people around the neighborhood the last week, so hopefully, blurry streams is hopefully something of the past pretty soon. So, you saw my opening picture here. I'm just gonna change my layout here. This is my ADSB receiver, and I'm gonna. My plan was to show you a step-by-step guide on how to get everything up and running. But there are so many ways to get this going, so I'm just going to do a general overview on what you need of equipment and how you can get there. Um, and we have the regular people in the stream and probably a couple more here. We have Kjetil, LB4FH is here. LA3NJ Henning is here. And Stian's here. So this is my ADSB tracker that you're seeing live here. And I actually changed antennas on it today. And we're going to talk a little bit about antennas for ADSB as well once we get going. But why should you bother doing this? You could just go to Flight Radar 24. You could go to ADSB Exchange and see all of this data. But as ham radio operators and generally radio interested people, it is always nice to kind of fool around with the radio waves around you and see what's going on. And this is one of those things you can do pretty easily. There are a couple of things you need, though. You will need some kind of computer. I'm using a Raspberry Pi, and we can start with that. Actually, just let me. I'm just going to Google a little bit first here. And I'm going to move the microphone so I can actually reach my keyboard here. Because Raspberry Pis are hard to get by at the moment. And as Stian says, this is necessarily a ham project. Anyone can do it. And exactly, anyone can do it. And it's not that hard anyway. But I'm using a Raspberry Pi, and those are hard to get a look of, get a hold of at the moment. But I'm going to share a tab with you here and show you an alternative that I don't know how many of you guys that listen to the Ham Radio Workbench podcast, but they were talking about another single board computer, whereas the pinout layout of the GPIO pins are exactly the same as with a Raspberry Pi. And as far as I can see, the card is pretty much laid out the same way as well. So at least my theory is that you can use somewhat of the same cases for it. So let's put that up on screen. And that's the Libre computer, Le Potato, which is a single board computer. I haven't really looked that much into this, but I've heard people talking about this. And this is available. Let's see how much it is. That's actually how prepared I am. So let's just check here. Let's check the global. It is. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger for you so you can actually read it. And it's actually $30 for this. So doesn't need to be much to get up and going. And this is a small single board computer, which runs Linux. And that's pretty much what you need. You could use an old laptop if you got that lying around. But the power consumption is a lot less on these. So that's the first thing you need. Let's hop on over to eBay and check the next thing we need, because we need some kind of radio receiver for a project like this. And never mind my recently viewed items here. So you're gonna need an SDR receiver, and I'm not able to type correctly today, but never mind that. And one of those days. And my SDR receiver of choice for a project like this is the RTL SDR receiver, which you can see here on eBay. And unfortunately I get the prices in Norwegian kroners. So they're about $40 or similar. Any RTL or any SDR receiver would probably work, but this is the one I have. So this is, let's see what is $39.99 US dollars for this one. And I see Henning has a question here: if fighter planes would be trackable with ADSB tracking. And yes and no is my quick answer to this. Two factors come into play with this. First of all, do they have their ADSB transponder on? If so, you will be able to pick it up. But sites like Flight Radar 24 actually filters out. They actually filter out military planes. But if you use ADSB Exchange, you get all the data that gets picked up, even the flights of some billionaires that wants to buy social media sites. So yes and no, Henning. But as long as you run your own receiver, you're able to pick up all the beacons. So, and I see that Kjetil mentions that Flight Radar lets you see military planes. Not necessarily, Kjetil, but ADSB Exchange will let you see military planes to a larger degree. So those are your hardware requisites for starters. But there's one thing missing, though, and that's an antenna. And you could do it really simple. And if you see my ticker down here, this did not play well with the green screen. But this is an LB0 Fox India dipole cut for 1090 megahertz. And that's the ADSB frequency. That's a really simple antenna to use, or you can make your own ground plane antenna. But at 900 subs, I'll be giving away this very antenna here for ADSB, if anyone wants one of those. Or you can build your own. You need, I think a quarter wave is about a little bit less than 7 centimeters. And you don't have to be spot on, because you're receiving and not sending. So anywhere in the ballpark will be fine. No need to, you don't need an antenna analyzer to check it out. So, and Jeff says that military also has something similar called IFF, Identify Friend or Foe. And I've heard about that, but I don't really know enough about it to really have any opinions on that. So once you have your computer, you have your computer, you have your SDR receiver, and you have your antenna. You got to get some software up and running. And what I'm using, I'll show that. Just find the right tab here. I'm using ADSB Exchange, which is, as you can see up here, it's the world's largest source of, and this is the magic word, unfiltered flight data. So whereas some of the other ADSB sites filter your information, ADSB Exchange does not do that. So ADSB Exchange shows every plane above you. Stian comments that it's 6.9 centimeters, and you're probably correct on that, but there's a velocity factor in play as well. So I've cut my ground plane antenna now for 6.7 centimeters right now. And actually, if you order one of those SDR dongles, you usually get somewhat of a little mag mount antenna with that, and you can just shorten that antenna and make it work for it. So there's plenty of ways, and my feeder is actually inside in my attic, just to keep the cable length as short as possible. So it's got a little bit of altitude, but it's inside in my attic, and I'm still able to pick it up pretty good. And Stian also comments that plenty of hits on Google if you look for Cantenna. So there are a lot of ways to do this. But if you get back to adsbexchange.com, you can click your share data here, and we'll just click the Getting Started tab here. And there are several ways to do this. Let's see if we can make it a little bit bigger for you. So you can start fresh, and that's what I did. I used their Raspberry Pi image. And there are also good instructions here, how to step by step, how to install the client on a clean Linux operating system. So if you want to fool around with this, there are several ways to get there. And LB4FH got a pretty good tip here. He ran one of these trackers for about a year until the SD card died. And I mean, it's probably going to die, and I'm probably gonna use the Pi and the SD card for something else. And I run these things on Pis until the SD card dies, and then I'll just put another image on them and start over again. But it's perfectly possible to turn off local logging or to use an SSD for it. And let's see here. I'm going to find another tab for you. So this is pretty much how you get started, and I'm not going to go into detail exactly on this process because I figured I'm running it on a Pi, and Pis are hard to get by, so you're probably going to use something else than a Pi, and but the instructions are here. So let's check out my my ADSB Exchange home screen that's on my Pi. There you go. It looks pretty much like this. And when you start it up, it's actually going to create its own Wi-Fi network. So you can log in through that network and configure the Wi-Fi through that. But once everything is up and running, you have several different options here. It's pretty easy to set up. Let's see here. The first thing you want to do is, though, just configure your location and your altitude above sea level, and what you want to call your feeder. And that's pretty much it. Once you've done that, and this, for me, it took about 20 minutes from start to finish to get this up and running. And we're just going to go back to the main menu here, and we're going to share the flight window again. And we're going to do that. Just one moment, though. I got my map up again. And the map opens in another tab. So just one moment while I find that. And then we're back to this map here. Right now, my receiver can't really hear any planes. But once a plane spots up, it'll, as you saw in the intro, it'll show up on the map here, and it'll show the information over here, and you can click on it and get more information on the flight. And I'm just going to check the, hang on, I'm going to check the feed from ADSB Exchange here, and we can see if any flights are nearby. So this is the map from ADSBExchange.com, which is exactly the same map, but this pulls information from all the feeders and shows it in one map. So you can pretty much zoom out and see a lot of flights here. So let's see here where we should go. And Shida said it'd be funny to see how that changed if you moved your antenna on a high pole. And that's actually one of my plans to do, though. I just got to figure out how to keep the feeder cable as short as possible. My plan is actually to put the antenna up on my antenna mast together with my other antennas for 2 meters, 6 meters, and 10 meters. But I just need to find a game plan, and it's got to be weather that allows me to get up on my roof and fix that. But let's check here. And it actually looks like it filters out Ukraine. I thought we could probably see something around Ukraine, but we can't. Let's zoom in on somewhere else. Let's try somewhere not locally and see what happens. Let's check here over Peoria, Illinois. You can just click on the plane and you get the information and a picture of the plane over here. Let's check this one. And that's actually how easy it is. And she actually comments, put the pie on the pole with it. Yeah, I just need to weatherproof it, though. So that's not a project that's going on in the current weather. It's let's say it's really wet and pretty much about freezing temperatures around here. And I actually thought this walkthrough would take a whole lot longer than 20 minutes, to be honest. But it's not hard to do. And what you also can do with the system, I'm just gonna pull up my window here again. Let's see, because there's one more thing you could do. If you want to send the data, let's say to Flight Radar, for instance. To Flight Radar 24. Just gonna pull that up in another tab here, so I'm able to show you that later on. Because what you can do, and I haven't set that up yet, but if you share data to Flight Radar 24, you'll get a premium account there, which is actually pretty good. So let's see here, find the right tab again. See if we can find the right tab here. Just one moment. It's actually not in the menu here, but if you go to ADSB exchange.local, when you get this up, slash other feeds, and I'm just going to swap the windows around. You can set up your feeder to feed to FlightAware and FlightAware 24. And I haven't really looked into this on how to set it up, so I'm not going to do that live. But it's a possibility, and I'm going to try that out. And when I've tried all this out, I'm probably going to release a video about it. And LB4FH says that he saw an interesting Black Hat conference talk about ADSB injection, where you could create fake planes in the system. And that is actually that is interesting, and I've no doubt that this is happening. We've seen this on marine trackers as well, that people inject fake data to say that a ship is somewhere where it's not, or that it's not somewhere it is. So the data is pretty much only as good as what is fed into the system. But I would guess for civilian traffic, it's pretty much accurate. For military traffic, perhaps not as accurate, either with fake information or no information. But I've done this just to see what's happening around my area, to see the local flights. If there isn't a helicopter or a small plane flying overhead, I want to know what it is. And it might not be fed into one of those large services like Flight Radar, but it's at least going to show up on my local map, which helps a lot. So let's bring up my map again and see if there are any planes on screen at the moment, though. And it's not like you really need this thing. It is, I mean, it's somewhat like any other radio related thing. You don't really need the information. You don't really need the you don't need to use this, but it's a lot of fun just messing around with it. And we got one plane that my receiver is spotting now, and let's check what it is. And it's a Polish registered Ryanair flight, probably, and I'm just assuming here, but there's an airport here, which is a hub for Ryanair. So what you can see is barely out of reach here. But my guess is that the Ryanair flight is coming from there. And what this doesn't give you is where the flight is going. But we can use this. Let's pull up Flight Radar and see what Flight Radar can say about this flight. And let's zoom in here. And I guess this is the flight. Yeah, it's going from Torp to Riga. So here you can get the more information about the flight. And Henning's got to brag a little bit. He worked TN 8K on 12 meters and 50 meters with only 12 watts and a quarter wave ground plane antenna. And out of pure curiosity, let's pull up QRZ and see what station that is. Number 8, kilo. Oh yeah, that is awesome. That is awesome. And sideband or BP mode there, Henning. That'd be interesting to know. And I've cleaned my shack desk today, and I found my pals. So I really got to start working on my CW again. It was of course CW, and yeah, CW is a mode that I'd really like to know, but I'm not quite there yet, and I'm not sure when I'm gonna have time for it. But I got my pals here, and I got about an hour commute each way to work every day. So I got a lot of time to listen to stuff. So what I'm going to ask you guys, is there any places where you can an audiobook about CW? Is there any good audiobooks or podcasts about CW to help you learn CW? And then I can use my commute for something halfway usable and have something that I need to figure out at some point. And CW will give you 10 dB or more gain with regards to readability. And yeah, I can pretty much figure that out. I haven't done any real DX today. Let's see if I can keep my windows the right size. I did, however, I had a QSO with Saudi Arabian station on 10-meter sideband today. That's my furthest contact today, and I called a little bit of CQ on 10 meters today, and the band seemed pretty good actually. Stian did 9 bands on QRP POTA activation. And digital counts, Stian. It does. Don't listen to the people that says that FT8 is killing ham radio. It's a different kind of ham radio, but this is, as I've said 1,000 times, this is a hobby of 1,000 hobbies, and you got to find your niche, and find whatever makes you happy, and whatever lets you explore the radio spectrum in the way that you feel comfortable of doing it. She had started the day with the NRAU Baltic contest on SSB. That was my plan as well, but I had stuff to do. Only have one day off this weekend. That was today, and we had a family gathering. So, so actually, I didn't have time for it. And sorry, Henning, but posting links in the comments doesn't work. So send me an email. That's probably the easiest way of doing this. And we'll put it up, and I'll look into it and see. So I see. Just got to wait for your last comment here to pop up on StreamYard so I can share it on the screen. Search Suggleman, and I'll do that and figure that out, because I need something that I can listen to and can help me start decoding some CW at a faster speed than about 1 word per minute. So because activating portable, all that kind of stuff, being able to do that on CW seems like a lot of fun, and it seems to be a good way when bands are not optimal. Hopefully we're getting there where bands will be more and more optimal, and we're absolutely on our way with the current solar cycle. So we'll get there. So what do you guys think? ADSB quick walkthrough. Anything you want me to dive deeper into detail on today? Any more things you want to know about? And I'll look into that. And also on my ticker, in addition to the ADSB antenna at 900 subs, I'm closing in on 1,000 subscribers, and that's kind of a magical YouTube number. Actually, two magical numbers in regard of this. It's 1,000 subscribers, and it's 4,000 hours of watch time in the last 365 days. And I'm on my way to 1,000 subscribers. I got a way to go on my watch time, though. I'm missing about 2,000 hours on my watch time. But once you reach those two numbers, you actually are able to get some revenue from YouTube. And looks like I'm within reach now. And it's not that I'm going to get rich about it. I'm probably still going to spend a lot more money than I make from this thing, but it'll help a little bit. It'll give me some some spendable cash to use for creating content. So if you guys want to help me with that, please do go ahead. And if you don't, it's not important, but it's one of my goals with this YouTube project that I started year and a half ago, just to show my kids that you can really make it on YouTube. And I guess I was proved wrong on that, but it's a lot of fun doing it. I enjoy doing this. So those are my current goals on YouTube. But at 1,000, I'll be giving away a Baofeng DM5R. And looks exactly like UV5R, but it has DMR as well. I haven't been able to make it work on DMR yet, though. I'm able to transmit on DMR, but I'm not able to receive anything. So, but it's a Baofeng, for good or worse. But it's a free radio for whoever wins it. And Jeff says I should do another visit on Coffee and Ham Radios, or Ham Radio 2.0, and get some viewers from that. Yeah, actually, first of all, that's not up to me. But I've seen the times I've been on Coffee and Ham Radios, my subscriber count and view time has actually skyrocketed. And same with the Ham Radio Dude. I haven't been on Ham Radio 2.0, though. I've been with him on a stream about a year ago, where I was brave enough to join a stream about parks on the air when I only done two parks on the air activations. And LB4FH. Well, Coffee and Ham Radio on Saturdays are in the afternoon here. But besides that, yes, they are. And I have sometimes I've been staying up late to join those streams just to show my face on other places than my own channel, and to collaborate with other YouTubers. And speaking about that, that's one of the good things about doing Ham Radio YouTube. You actually get to meet people, and you get to discuss things. And I got to say, I love it. It's a part of the hobby, and it's a part of, I think YouTube has become the new kind of Elmering for new hams and for experienced hams as well. It is a way for people that have done this for a long time, or new hams like me. I've only been a ham for a little bit more than 2 years, to be able to share some knowledge. And my goal here is not to know everything and be an expert. My goal is to show you guys that if I can do it, you can do it, and try to show some of the diversity in the hobby. And as I've said several times before, do feel free to send me an email or a message on Discord, or hit me up on Facebook if you want. Send me a message if you want me to make content about anything, or if you have something you want to show off or tell people about. Um, do feel free to be a guest on one of my streams. It's not always that easy to come up with a subject every week. And Jeff says that DX Commander's got a channel as well. Yeah, I've been on his streams on the other end of his pileup. That's as far as I've come there. But yeah, so I really enjoy this YouTube project, and this is not going to be about me though. It's been about me for enough time now, for about 5 minutes. But do feel free to look at my videos though. And I got another project though, because a friend of mine lent me one of these, and one of these Motorola DMR radios to try out on the ham band. These are radios that he uses commercially, and offered me to borrow them to see if I could get them up and running on ham bands. And if you ever think that programming a DMR radio is hard, programming a Motorola DMR radio is somewhat close to impossible. So so that's probably something for a video once I figure out how to use the CPS software there. Stian set up his HT with APRS on Friday. I've tried it on my Anytone 878, which I don't have anymore, and I can really get it to work reliably on that radio. And right now I don't have any APRS enabled radios except for the mobile radio in my shack, the Kenwood D700, which is an old radio, but I mean, it's a fantastic radio. It's got a built-in TNC, so you can do packet radio with just one cable to the computer, and that's all you need. So I've tried a little bit of WinLink on that. I even got a video on WinLink on that radio, which about 25 people have seen. I guess not a lot of people have that radio and is interested in doing WinLink with it, but I wanted to show that off as well. So I got 3 videos on how to do WinLink on different radios now. But back to the ADSB, which is the theme of tonight's stream. I think I'm pretty much coming up to the end here on the ADSB for just a quick explanation for you guys. And I think I've shown you how easy it is to set up. I've actually spent more time talking about it today than I've done setting it up, but I'm going to do a couple of videos on both simple antennas you can use for ADSB and how to set up your receiver. And that's probably coming sometime next week. Just got to figure out some time to shoot the videos. Also, I'm currently testing the Retivis RT98 miniature mobile radio from Retivis. Looking at some pros and cons on that radio, seeing exactly who this radio is for, because this is not a radio for everyone, to be honest. Let me just pull up just one moment. And if you hear some sounds in the background, it's just one of my family members trying to cook. And doesn't seem like it's going successfully. Just one moment. Okay. She doesn't need any help. The Retivis radio up here. It is. Let's find it here. It's the VHF edition that I have. And this radio is small. It's I don't have it in the shack right now. Otherwise, I'd shown it. But it's 10 by 10 by 2.5 centimeters. which sounds small, um, but it's a lot smaller when you open the box. So it's tiny, and it is tiny, but it's kind of limited in functionality. I'm going to say that much. So it really depends on your use case with a radio like this, and it's not necessarily if you only want one mobile radio, this is not the radio for you. If you want something to supplement another mobile radio, or if you got a specific use case, this might actually be the radio for you. So uh, that's my thoughts on this radio as of now. I'm going to test it for another week and take a deep dive into the functionality before I draw a final conclusion on it, though. And speaking about Retiva's radios, Shito's been playing around with the Retiva's radio he won on my stream a couple of weeks back, and works fine, easy to program, and decent audio. And exactly, it does. It's a simple radio. That radio. Uh, and tip for a video: make a quarter wave ground plane and show how easy it is to make it work. Yeah, I could do that. Could do that together with antennas for ADSB. I can make a quarter wave ground plane for ADSB. Check's got a 10 meter, and I guess you mean a 10-meter Retiva's radio. Works good. And I've been testing a couple of radios from Retiva's the last couple of months, and my impression is that they make really good radios. They're a step up from your usual Chinese radios, not quite Japanese radios, but at their price point, they really have their place. And Andy, what was it that you were going to order that had a 10,000 somewhat postage? I guess you mean pounds. I'm really curious now what you're going to order that's got a postage that is that steep. So that'll be interesting to know. So please do share that, Andy. And yeah, so I'm going to draw some conclusions on that tiny Retiva's mobile radio, which Andy says that the Retiva's radio had, I guess there's something wrong if the postage was that steep. I wouldn't buy it with a 10,000 pound postage. It's not a 10,070 pound radio. But LB4FH Shittel comments that as far as we've read in the news here, there are some troubles with the Royal Mail in the UK, so that might be the reason. I've heard that soda beams are not able to ship their products out of the UK at the moment. Just a rumor, though, so it might not be true. But we're not going to go into that. Discussing Brexit is probably for another social medium and for another type of YouTube channels. But yeah, I guess we're pretty much at the end of at least explaining ADSB. But as Henning says, do a quarter wave ground plane, and quarter wave ground planes are really easy antennas. Both with regards of HF antennas, 2-meter antennas, ADSB antennas. I mean, it's easy and they're effective, and you can make them pretty much out of anything. The ADSB antenna that's up in my attic right now is made out of clothes hangers, just soldered to an SO239 connector, and bent in about 45-degree angle with the radials there. So pretty easy to make. But yeah, I'll be back. I'm just gonna take a look at that comment though from Henning here. With Rebound Network and CW, you can see how well the antenna transmits. Yeah, or you could use Whisper as we non-CW people do, or pretty much just FD8 and see where you're spotted. So there are a lot of ways to see where how good an antenna is without knowing CW, and it's just one of those tools, though. But an antenna test will always be dependent on the current propagation conditions. So testing the same antenna on 2 different days might yield 2 different results, and not might, it will give you 2 different results. Even different times of day will give you different results. So doing a comparable A/B test of an antenna is not necessarily easy. Tom says that he used an RTL USB dongle with a USB cable to an Android phone to get ADSB in the past, and it works. I actually have one of those really tiny DVB-T receivers for a cell phone, which I got sometime. I figured might as well watch TV on my phone, but I mean, I never did. I got that stuck somewhere. I'll see if I can find that, and I got to find an old Android phone though, because I'm on an iPhone now. But see if we can get something going on there. And there is also another aircraft related topic we could take a look at, and that's ACARS. That's the short text messages that goes between planes and the ground, and they might go between planes as well. Just short telex type communication between planes and ground, and that should be pretty interesting to take a look at as well. So I'm probably going to follow up on that as well. Got a couple of ideas now. Got to put them on my whiteboard behind me here. So and Bert's here. Welcome. A little bit late. We're about to wrap up now. And Jeff comments on ACARS here. It's between planes. It's both VHF and satellite. Yeah, and we got to take a look at the VHF bit about it though. And they're using a frequency at about 130 megahertz, I think, which actually makes a regular 2-meter antenna work for this. And YouTube notified Bert a little bit too late, and I'm sorry about that. That's out of my hands though. So that's about it. I'll be back with a live stream in a week, and hopefully I'll get to make a couple of videos this coming week and make some content for you. And Jeff says it's the aircraft band, and that's absolutely correct. It is. But you should be able to use any old 2-meter antenna to receive ACARS though, or a disc cone if you have that. I got a disc cone up in the attic as well because, well, conditions are good enough to walk on my roof at the moment. So I'll just put the disc cone up in the attic, and that's my kind of go-to antenna for just listening out of the ham bands. It's not the best antenna, but it's wide banded, and it's good for a receiving antenna. So that's about it for today. 7-3. See you guys later. And please don't forget to both like, comment, and subscribe, as I say in the end of all my videos. Thank you for watching, and good luck on taking a look at the planes above your head with ADSB 7-3.